Hello, my name is Rachel Bockrath, and I'm going to be talking about patterns of avian community composition and seasonal shifts in an urban agroecosystem. Biodiversity hotspots like California are critical zones for avian conservation. However, these areas also experience dramatic modification from human land use. This creates a mosaic of natural and human-modified habitats. One area that represents this pattern is the Ventura County of Southern California, where this study takes place. Prior studies have found that intensively managed orchards tend to have lower bird diversity, density, and richness than natural habitats, with some seasonal variation. Other studies find that avian diversity and richness also tends to drop following increasing urbanization, with non-native species becoming more prevalent. This means that we have a general idea about how avian communities change across natural and urban and agricultural habitats, as well as how they change between natural and urbanized habitats. However, we don't have a clear understanding of how the communities change between agricultural and urbanized habitats. This gap in our knowledge means that we fail to have a holistic understanding of how birds are adapting to these changing landscapes. In this presentation, I'll be answering the questions: does each of the habitats considered host a unique avian community? Do the communities of each habitat change over seasons? Are these changes seen in all habitats? And what species are responsible for driving these changes? This survey takes place in the Santa Clara River Valley in the Ventura County area of Southern California. This survey includes 6 habitats of interest, which are broadly representative of major habitats in the area, these being scrub, riparian, orchard, suburban, urban, and edge. Each of the 6 habitats contains 10 survey points, and each point is visited 3 times in a season. These habitats are defined as riparian, corridors dominated by willows near the Santa Clara River, scrub, sage scrub in the dry foothills of the valley, together referred to as the natural habitats, as well as orchard, farms containing blocks of citrus and avocado trees. Additionally, we have suburban neighborhoods in the towns of Santa Paula and Fillmore, urban commercial lots in the city of Oxnard, together referred to as the urbanized habitats, and edge, which is agriculture combined with one of the other habitat types. To assess the bird community composition at each site, I conduct point count surveys. During the point count, all species seen and heard within a 50-meter radius are recorded and counted. Each point is at least 250 meters away from all other points. Surveys begin at dawn and end within 5 hours of the start time. Point counts last for 5 minutes. So what have we found so far in this project? When we look at the avian communities across the whole landscape over a year, we see that each habitat does indeed host its own unique avian community. On the left, we have an NMDS plot, and on these plots, points that are closer together are more similar than points that are farther apart. These points are also color-coded by their habitats. On the right, we have the results of an ANOSIM analysis. In ANOSIM, point numbers that are closer to 1 indicate that there is high dissimilarity between the 2 categories considered. Numbers that are closer to 0 indicate that the 2 habitats are very similar, or in some cases, not significantly different at all. Taken together, we see that the natural habitats grouped together with orchard falling in close to those natural habitats. We see greater division in the urbanized habitats of suburban and urban, and we see a strong differentiation between the natural habitats and the urban habitats. When considering seasonal changes, we're going to be looking at 3 habitats in particular as sort of representative of their categories. We'll be looking at riparian, orchard, and suburban. Now on the NMDS plot, we have points grouped by their season. In the riparian habitats, we see strong turnover of avian communities over seasons, with summer and winter being the most dissimilar communities. However, we also see these pairings of summer, spring, and winter, fall, where we have communities remaining relatively stable across those seasonal pairings. In the orchards, we see a similar pattern. Summer and winter are again the most dissimilar, although not to the same degree. And this time we see that the spring fall communities are similar to one another. In the suburban habitat, we see a bit of a shift in these patterns with a lot more overlap as seen in the NMDS plot. However, we still see this spring, summer, winter, fall split between the year. To determine what species are significantly associated with each season within a habitat, I run an indicator species analysis. Here in riparian, that reveals that the yellow-rumped warbler and white-crowned sparrow are representative of that fall-winter group. We have then the lesser goldfinch and Bell's vireo being emblematic of the spring-summer group, along with many other summer breeding migrants in the summer-spring. In the orchards, we see yellow-rumped warblers showing up again, this time as associated with the spring and fall communities, and lesser goldfinch once again being dominant during the summertime. In the suburbs, we see a little bit of different birds as well as some returns. The yellow-rumped warbler is still emblematic of the fall-winter community, whereas the house sparrow is dominant and most prominent in the spring and summer breeding season. In conclusion, orchard avian communities lie closer to natural communities than either orchard or natural communities lie to the urbanized communities. Thus, we see the agriculture urbanization turnover is similar to the natural urbanized turnover, although not quite to the same degree and with fewer species involved. Bird communities in the urbanized areas are fairly stable over seasons, while the natural and agricultural habitats display greater seasonal shift. And with that, I would like to thank everyone who has helped make this project possible, and thank you for your time and attention.